It's not about all of the combined old information. It's about what's next. This Aquarius full moon is a lit up sky. The moon itself isn't directly aspecting anything, but the ruler of this moon is Uranus, and it is lighting up the sky with activity. An incredible opportunity for breaking through old trauma patterns, getting divine inspiration. This is electrifying. So people could actually feel like they're tingling and lit up. At the time that I'm recording this video, and what a lot of us have been going through since the last new moon, is a Mercury retrograde, and a doozy one at that. The world could feel like a lot of past pain, past hurts are coming up, like moving forward is nearly impossible. And it's just felt mucky. This full moon opportunity looks like an opportunity to break through it all. The full moon is on August 9th. Mercury goes direct August 11th. And August 12th, Jupiter and Venus come together in the sky for their conjunction. A new cycle begins with love, money, healing, expansion. These are the two most benefic planets in the zodiac. And when they start a new cycle, you can get ready for some magic, especially with an Aquarius full moon and Uranus on fire. In the introduction of this video, I'm going to get into more details about the Jupiter-Venus conjunction, what Jupiter is doing in the next phase in August, which is also really exciting, the energy behind an Aquarius full moon, what it means to have the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, aspecting all of these planets. This will apply to everyone. And then you can check your sign by sign, your sun, moon, and rising to get a better sense of the details of how this could show up in your life and which part of your life. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen Keen. This is Full Cup Astrology. I will be analyzing the sky based on Western tropical zodiac, whole sign house systems for general readings. Aquarius full moon, August 9th. This is happening exactly at 11:54 a.m. Pacific time. At the time of this full moon, Mercury is still retrograde. So whatever you've been dealing with for the past month has an opportunity to come to a close. It is often through revisiting struggles that we start to pay more attention to where we need better resolution. And with Uranus energy, the better resolution is something that has not been done before. It's breaking the mold. It's not looking to the past for how we've done things in the past and how to apply that to the future. It is probably conditions during this Mercury retrograde that we realize what we have done in the past is not working. And it's when we have these realizations that there's an opportunity for a new answer. And it's only then, because we have to ask the question and we have to go deep inside or open ourselves up to greater inspiration. And then somehow whether it's through clues on social media or books that we're reading or whatever information is coming at us, we have this incredible ability as humans to be creative thinkers. As much as Uranus is the type of archetype that represents AI, and I do really think that AI is the collective consciousness. AI is literally what we as a collective are focusing on in our conscious minds and have put this into a system that can feed information back to us. Incredible. But beyond that, Uranus more deeply represents our ability to connect with divine inspiration, something raw, something new. And we can't find those answers in AI. That is a unique skill that only humans have. And that is what is always going to keep us separate from what a robot can offer us. A robot does have access to a ton of information that I'm not sure is even possible to store in one human brain. But that's where I think we're going to begin to connect to something else. It's not about all of the combined old information. It's about what's next. And this full moon is going to give a lot of us just that answer. Uranus, the ruler of this moon, is in its new position in Gemini, and it is making a sextile to Saturn and Neptune, a sextile to Mercury, a trine to Mars, a trine to Pluto. And in that configuration, there is a big kite in the sky. A kite and that rectangle that I talked about in videos before with the cross between it, both of these speak to optimal creativity. If you are the creative type or not, this is the time to brainstorm, get out your pen and pencil, draw, create, speak, and do it from a place of feeling free to be who you uniquely are. That's a very Aquarian energy. The new moon that we just had in Leo was about tapping into the strength and bravery of self. And when we do that, it's as if we have a landing point or an anchor for this bigger expansion of Uranian energy that is about the group, the collective, how we function as a system, and divine wisdom, divine inspiration. And it is the divine inspiration that helps us feel free to be unique because we recognize that there's a higher purpose and a higher plan, and staying the same as everyone else and staying in this mold that's more conformist and acceptable in society absolutely has its place. But it's not what creates new things, and it's not what creates joy of human creativity. We are stepping into that more and more, and this is definitely one of those moments. As much as this is a full moon and it is an opportunity for closure, with Uranus an opportunity for closure of past trauma related to being unique and different so that we can step into that Uranian radical change. So it feels to me more like a new moon. And the new moon we just had in Leo had so much conflicting tension energy that it felt more like closing off, cutting off cycle. And now we're coming into eclipse season. So I feel like this is just a whole wonky period in general, not your typical new moon and full moon cycle. With Uranus activating all of these planets, that's a lot of different dynamics to get into, but with Mars, we're taking action. With Pluto, it's an opportunity for purging and release, which is very fitting to this full moon. Anything that is, same thing, holding us back from this ultimate creativity and new answers, new systems, new ways of doing things. Saturn and Neptune allow for this combination of creativity and bringing dreams into reality, but there's a slowness. Uranus, however, abrupt, tower moment. This is a complete moment of sometimes full destruction so that we can rebuild from the bottom up with this new, better, more evolved opportunity, situation, whatever it is for each person. And Mercury is still retrograde, so at the time of this full moon, clarity and communication could still be off. This is a time to wrap things up, but the ideas are forming now. This is the time to process, get it all down on paper. When the eclipses happen in September, that could take us for a curveball or set us flying on the trajectory that we have been working towards. That's going to be a unique experience for each person. So as exciting as this full moon feels, be patient with moving forward if you feel that that's the right situation for you. And Venus and Jupiter. Jupiter, Venus, new cycle and conjunction in Cancer has the opportunity for love, money, beauty, expansion of ideas, more curiosity, healing, and with the element of home and safety and feeling nurtured in ourselves first and foremost, but that expands into our family life, into our home life, and out into the world. Jupiter can take us on a journey of experience. And with Venus, this experience is going to be about pleasure, about romance, about beauty and money and what we value. Relationships could start brand new cycles, no matter what has been going on in your life. And I know for a lot of people, there have been incredibly challenging situations. This video is never to predict what is actually going to show up next. but more the quality of the energy of the opportunities that could present themselves. I feel like the month, especially leading up to this full moon, has brought up a lot of what it is we want to change, what it is that's not working. And this Jupiter-Venus conjunction is magic. It is a magical opportunity for a few reasons. Mercury is just going direct right before this conjunction perfects on August 12th. Jupiter is already in its exalted position in Cancer, but it is even more exalted at 15 degrees. This conjunction is happening at 13 and 14 degrees, kind of. They travel very close together for a short period. And then Jupiter is exalted at 15 degrees, even more so than its whole journey in Cancer. It is going to revisit this exalted position again next year, and I will talk more about those degrees. But for now, just know that this is one of the most opportunistic moments for feeling blessed in the world. Feeling like what you want out of home and security and inner comfort and satisfaction is achievable. Feeling optimistic about love, money, and romance. Feeling optimistic about the joy of life again. Just being alive and existing. And from this place, we have the opportunity to spread this nurturing, optimistic energy around, and we're all going to be feeling it. This is a week that I'm really looking forward to. And it is a moment where when Uranus comes ripping through and tears something down, that can sometimes be shocking. It can bring surprises. With all these trines and sextiles from Uranus, this is very likely to be pleasant surprises. But some people just don't like surprises, good or not. So warning on that Uranus can bring such quick change that it is uncomfortable. I don't predict that with this sky, but it does need to be said. And I do think that within days, if not leading up to this full moon, most people are already going to be feeling this Jupiter-Venus healing energy. And I absolutely can't wait. I must say that even reading this chart for our full moon, and I have been eyeing this Jupiter-Venus for quite some time. And now that I'm getting into the reading and looking at it, it feels really optimistic. But at the state that I'm currently in, it's almost hard to believe that I could shift into that optimistic state. So I wanted to mention that in case there are other people out there feeling like that. And we'll see. But that's one of the things that makes me fall in love with astrology over and over and over again, is that things just shift. They do. We are in elated states, mediocre states, and everything else we can imagine, but it does shift and change from day to day, from week to week and year to year. In addition to all of these sextiles and trines and beautiful configurations that are here to assist us in positive, radical change, Mars and Saturn are in tension, opposing each other. This is going to be potentially more of the uncomfortable energy of the sky. It's likely that there's going to be something that breaks through the old constructs of Saturn. Mars is here to axe. Mars can sometimes cause conflict in the process, but it's this eruption of what is tried, tested, true, stable foundation of the past that is part of making room for all of these more enlightened changes. I hope that this journey is going really well for all of you. If you would like to process more with a one-on-one reading with me, I will link my booking link in the description below. But thank you so much just for being here, for chatting with me in the comments. It is so much fun, and to just chat astrology with you at all these significant points. So thank you. And now let's get into your sign. Hi, Gemini. This full moon is happening in your 9th house. So this is a moment that you yourself, because Uranus is in your sign, are going to have an expansive breakthrough. It could be a divine psychic download, but it's going to break through things that you have used as a construct to make sense of this world, your belief systems, how you have come to process and put together information in a way that helps you make sense of what has been, and the process that you use to continue to explore new things and new information. You could be depending a lot more on your intuition with Uranus moving into your sign, and especially because Uranus was in your 12th house for quite some time. So you have been developing that connection to intuitive downloads. It could be that you are just doing more now to break through into new patterns of being. Compared to when Uranus was in Taurus since 2018, and that's part of your chart that was more in the background, definitely could speak to your ability to connect with psychic and divine information and ideas that have never been done before, but this could be putting things into action. Communication is lit up by Uranus with Mercury in your 3rd, Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house of audience, Pluto in your 9th house as well, Mars in your 5th house with Libra. So these are all getting aspected by you breaking through the mold, breaking out into something that is radically different than maybe how you've seen yourself before. Maybe other people are picking up on this change, and for you it feels normal after having Uranus come through and activate the 12th house, which can be the more hidden or the more energetic parts of ourselves. Jupiter and Venus are in your 2nd house in trine to the North Node in your 10th. This is an energy for expansion of your values, expansion of your sense of security in the world, what you possess, your ability for your money to expand. The North Node of the 10th house could mean that something about your career and reputation is activating abundance in your life. Jupiter and Venus in Cancer in your 2nd house speak a lot to what makes you feel secure. What values do you have in place that add to your sense of being able to enjoy the pleasures of this world from a place of self-reliance and security? Jupiter is the ruler of your 7th house and your 10th house. So this could connect to your status, your partnerships, your work and work relationships somehow. A signature for success though, and abundance, which is very exciting. Your creative self-expression is definitely going to come into play. Venus is the ruler of your 5th and your 12th house. And this is where you feel free to express at a pure energetic level, core level, who you are as an energetic being that is not contained by a shell of shoulds, who you should be in the world, what has been done before. This is an opportunity to break out of that. The last 2 moons certainly have, but there is a faded element with your reputation, who you are in the public world. It is fated that you get a certain expansion in your house of values and abundance and assets and all of those things. So whether you're feeling that in the material world or not, you will be feeling that inside. And that is a magnet for attracting the material things that match that. So think about that at this time. If you're, depending on what your external circumstances are, this is certainly a imprint where you can deeply heal any insecurities you have around your sense of security in this world, because Cancer energy can have its insecure moments where it wants to hide and protect. And it's not that it's insecure in a way of not seeing value in itself. It's that there is a need to retreat and be protected. And you could be valuing that all that much more and giving yourself more of that space. Speaking of which, this Saturn Mars opposition is in your 5th and your 11th. And that could mean that this new expression of self is forcing a restructure in your friends or magnetizing a restructure in your groups, in your audience, in the society that you surround yourself with. Those people that come into your sphere are going to start to look different and start to be a match for your new belief systems. The way we view the world and the way that we express that is highlighted in your chart. The time of this full moon and leading up to it, Mercury, our planet of communication, is still not strong. So there could be some confusion that's part of a big change at the full moon, but it is just days afterwards and the week after this full moon that a lot of incredible things could click into place. So no matter what you're feeling right now, keep me posted and let me know how this unfolds. Would love to hear how this is going for Geminis out there. So much exciting possibility. And if you would like to hear more with your personal chart, I will link my website in the description below. Check that out there. Would love to see you there. But for now, have a wonderful full moon and thank you so much for being here. Hi, Cancer. This full moon is happening in your 8th house. This is a time of psychological transformation, certainly a time where past traumas could come to the surface, but an opportunity for massive release, transformation, and change. This is the kind of energy where you have probably been doing some work for quite some time, maybe not fully feeling the results, and then something happens at this full moon and it just completely breaks through the old and brings you into a place where all of a sudden you can see more from a bird's eye view what's going on in your psyche. And you're able to do that anyway on a regular basis, but this full moon is going to amp that up, especially with the ruler of this moon, Uranus, newly in your 12th house. This is an energy of lots of intuitive downloads, being able to understand our energetic world from a more detached perspective where you can see it all. You can see the inner workings of how energy works and how it is at play behind the scenes. This is a time where the transformation that you go through at a psychological level might not even be fully in your awareness. And life is just happening. You're going through the motions, and you might look back on this time 10 years from now and realize that you were going through massive changes. It just wasn't the way you were looking at it at the time. Uranus is lighting up your 2nd house, your 4th house, your 10th house, your 8th house. Mercury in your 2nd is about expressing your values, communicating what you connect to at an energetic level and what really matters to you at that level, because Mercury is your planet of communication, but it is also the ruler of your 12th house and your 3rd, which is still communication. But 12th house is that more intangible, energetic world that connects us all. So you might be more focused on trying to get that into words and in a way that matches your values, helps you express your values, and then helps your needs get met by yourself, but also by others. Saturn and Neptune in your 10th and Mars at the cusp of your 4th house. This opposition is adding tension from who you are in the inner world and who you reflect to be in the outer world. If there has been suppression of your ability to take action lately, this is a moment where that power to take action could feel like it comes out of nowhere because of all of this Uranian activity. But Mars at the cusp of your 4th house is passion, anger, motivation, frustration. But those are the ingredients that get things done and help us move forward. When it's in a polarity to Saturn in your 10th house, this is how you take action in a way that either transforms old structure or incorporates the way things have been done traditionally, but bring it into a new way that you have maybe dreamt up. You might be somewhat disconnected or dissolving old structures with Neptune there as well. But Neptune and Saturn could mean bringing dreams to reality. Really depends on what your 10th house is all about, what your career is about, what your reputation and public image is about. If you're in film, Neptune will be that element that is a lot of creativity. It's where you can take energy and put it into form. But it can play out in many different ways, and it can be an element of dissolving or dissociating from the foundation that really matters. So it's really hard to predict how this one could show up, and this is where you'll have to figure out which nuances feel appropriate for your situation. But just know that if you're feeling inner frustration and extra energy, this is an opportunity to release it in a structured, functional, helpful way. And it's going to restructure something about how you show up in the world that is going to really help you bring forward this more radical energy that Uranus in your 12th house can have. The ruler of this moon being in your 12th house is more about endings. It's going to be more about endings for Cancers out there than some other signs, but it also is that divine download wisdom of the gods that's coming forward. So wonderful opportunity to get answers from meditation. And Jupiter and Venus are in your sign. This is very blessed energies for Cancers out there. This is extremely fertile energy. This is energy where you could have a lot of abundance. You could be drawn to indulging. Overindulgence is certainly a strong signature here. But it's helping you figure out a new belief set about the world, a new mindset, a new way of viewing things. With the North Node in trine to Jupiter and Venus, North Node being in your 9th house, this is a journey towards learning and being a teacher yourself. How do you assimilate information, and what is it that you're moving towards in a more Piscean way, because that's where the North Node is in your 9th house? How are you moving towards the energetic process behind all things? That could keep you in a very creative state. That could keep you in a dissociated, indulgent energy. It's also the exact same energy that has the power to have a lot of abundance and pleasure come from seeking information and assimilating information and teaching and viewing the world in new ways, viewing how we operate at an energetic level, and understanding that there are so many more layers to human existence than just what meets the eye. And it's looking behind the scenes that is really helping you out right now. Ultimately, bringing you more pleasure, more joy, more healing to your physical body. For those of you that do teach, this is a time where Cancerian energy could be coming on strong. You could be teaching about what you know as a Cancer when it comes to nurturing and healing family dynamics, using the healing of family dynamics to support relationships. This particular sky activates so many areas of people's charts that it's really challenging to hone in on just a few for this reading. But it does, from other things I'm picking up, Venus is the ruler of your 11th house. So this is another opportunity for you to be in the public image. This is another opportunity for you to be seen by your audience, come across in a very Jupiterian, knowledgeable, larger than life type of energy. For Cancers, that's atypical. Cancers can be a life of the party. They can really focus on connection and bonding, but there's that need to retreat and keep things private and at home and in the inner world. There's a big mix with this energy, and it looks like a lot of Cancerians are learning how it feels to be seen and learning that there is a lot you have to teach and show others. I would love to hear how this is going for you, Cancer. Let me know how this is showing up in the comments below. It's so much fun chatting with you there, but thank you for just being here. And if you would like to process more with your personal chart, I will link my booking site in the description below. Have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Leo. This is a partnership full moon for you in your 7th house. So the 1st and 7th house axis full moon. This is about you as well. And there's a lot lit up with communication. You have Mercury retrograde in your sign, and it has been going on this retrograde journey in Leo. So communication can be testing. It can be confusing. It might be harder to articulate what you want, or conversations from the past could be coming up. Mars and Saturn are in opposition in your 3rd house and 9th house. This is tension that is encouraging more communication, better integration of communication. And because it's your partnership axis for the moon, to me this feels like that it's partnerships that are bringing communication shifts to light. It could even be frustration, but that breaks the mold of how you viewed things in the past, how you build your belief systems about the world, and how you integrate foreign information and bring it into something that's meaningful to you. Because the 9th house is about always growing in our perspective of life, always endlessly searching for new material to continue to expand our views of the world. When we're born, our view of the world is very narrow, and then it just continues to grow and expand year by year as we add new experiences and have slight shifts along the way of what this world is all about. And this moon is when partnerships could really blast open a new way of being in partnerships, a new way of communicating, a new way of seeing the world through other people. Venus and Jupiter in your 12th house, this speaks to relationships, but it speaks to an expansion of things that are hidden, of things that are happening behind closed doors, of secrets, of information that you might not have fully yet. It could be faraway places. Maybe you're going on vacation, a lovely romantic Jupiterian indulgent vacation. If you have a tendency to dissociate, this is a time where that could go overboard with joy and pleasure and indulging, but in a good way, because these planets are also lovely activated. And if that's the case, then you're going to start to see how that can shift and totally transform your psyche. The North Node in your 8th house is getting a trine from Jupiter and Venus. So the direction that you're going in with intimate bonds and shared resources with other people and your own psychological changes are what are being activated by this hidden pleasure abundant thing happening in your 12th house. Uranus is the star of this moon, the ruling planet of the full moon in your partnership house. Somehow your society, your groups, your community, your connections to friends and bigger friend groups are changing. If you have an audience, you could be dealing with people who are pushing the boundaries and have radical expression. There could be a need to observe from a overseeing perspective how you connect with community. And this does overlap with your relationships and your partnerships, your one-on-one important connections, where this moon is, where Pluto is totally transforming this part of your life. A lot of beautiful angles between the planets. So this bird's eye view of how you are with your community, with your greater groups of people, who you stand up in front of. It's changing your communication. It's changing your partnerships. Maybe you're meeting new, radical, different people, and some of those relationships are becoming more one-on-one and more important in your life. Keep in mind the opportunity to transform your beliefs and your mindset. This could break down old structures around how you perceive the world and how you integrate communication and conversations that you have with important people. This could change how you then communicate with your audience, communicate with bigger communities, how you connect with communities. A lot of Leos, Leo risings, Leo moons, it looks like there's an emphasis on gathering information, being a better listener, being a better communicator, and having meaning to the information that's spreading around. And that's what's going to build your new belief systems, deepen your intimate bonds, change how you connect one-on-one. Lots of potential. I would love to hear how this is showing up for you, Leo. Let me know in the comments below. And if you would like to chat more one-on-one about your chart, I will link my booking page in the description below. But for now, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful full moon, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Virgo. This is the 6th house full moon for you. So this could be an ending with unhealthy habits, any routine that is draining your energy and not serving you. Something has to go to make room for more radical ideas, for you to be seen in the public for your creative genius, for your intuitive abilities. A lot of Virgos could be coming up with clever ideas around this time. Uranus is at the very top of your chart. Virgos could be standing out for their more unusual qualities. And Virgo is a highly detailed sign. It is typically geared towards service and healthy routines, managing life, the day-to-day tasks, which is where this full moon is. But there's very cerebral activity to this grounded earth sign because it is ruled by Mercury. So you add Uranus at the top of your chart, activating all of these planets in the sky. And this is a time where if you ask, the answers will come, and they will be different than what has been done before, and what is maybe even your typical way of doing things and your typical way of being out in the public. Virgos can be known for being quite simple and plain in their presentation, but that doesn't mean that that's what's going on inside. And this is a moment where whatever fears you have around being seen for being different, for your uniqueness, you're going to start seeing that it's that very ingredient that is going to add to healthy routines, more career success, better flow in your day-to-day life. Your ruler has been retrograde, Mercury. It's in your 12th house. You could be feeling more sluggish than a lot of other signs. This is purposeful. This is the season before your birthday as well. So it is designed to be a more restful, inward, contemplative time before the new solar cycle starts for you. But days after this full moon, Mercury goes direct, and we have this beautiful configuration of Jupiter and Venus. That's going to happen in your 11th house of wishes coming true, long-held wishes coming true. This is a beautiful signature for expanding your communities, your networks, friends that really feel nurturing, groups and societies that feel nurturing to you, and where there's mutual nurturing and healing that can evolve and take place. This is in beautiful trine energy to the North Node in your partnership house. So significant fated partnerships are probably a piece of this signature for you. And it's going to have an element of expanding your community in a larger scale. Or it could be someone that you meet through this community, probably a past connection, given that this retrograde is happening at this moment. However, the exact conjunction of Jupiter and Venus happens on the 12th, I believe. So Mercury is direct by then. It could very well be someone new. We are also technically in the eclipse energy next week. So with the eclipses happening in your partnership house in September, most Virgos are going to have some significant person come into your life, whether that's work or other partnerships. This is a wonderful time to have bonds that surround you, that are nurturing, that are what you need. Whatever it is, make a list. We're at the full moon, so over the next 2 weeks, this is a wonderful time. Whatever might be falling away at this full moon, make a list of what you want to create. And think about it and feel it in your body. Feel how you would feel when your wishes come true. There's a feeling of being content in that energy. I am classically known for this, where I get overly elated when good things happen, but that seems to not be the energy where things stick. You could definitely be happy about what's going on. But when we get into this really heightened state, there might be something else going on that's not as long lasting, but not to dampen any excitement, just as a side note, because this energy between your 7th house of Pisces and this beautiful trine to Cancer with Jupiter and Venus looks like a very soothing, watery, intuitive, nurturing, comforting, creative energy that's taking place. Saturn and Mars are in opposition tension from your 2nd house to your 8th house. But this line of tension is surrounded by these other beautiful configurations of ease and things flowing to you. So whatever it is that's going on with your resources, your assets, Mars in your 2nd house could mean that you are getting rid of a lot of possessions, you're downsizing. Mars in the 2nd house could be a motivation to change your money values, what you believe about abundance, and how do you get support in a long-term, steady, stable way from other people. Shared resources have long-term potential here. But with Saturn retrograde and opposition to Mars at this moment, this is a time that and it is a full moon. So this is a time when there's something likely that's leaving, that's releasing, but it's making room for what you really value. It's making room for more stability in your shared resources and your intimacy, especially come next year when Saturn moves back into this position and is in direct motion. So that's when you're going to feel more steady and stable. This full moon, as cool as all of these configurations are, Uranus is not a stable sign. It does create change that's extremely positive and ideas that are genius sometimes, especially in Gemini. But there's an instability of destruction and building things back up in that process. So be patient with that if that's how things are showing up for you. Overall, Virgo, I hope that you have had the opportunity to rest and take it easy for the past month. Starting mid-August and moving into September, things are really going to start to flow and show the changes that maybe you have been looking for. You let me know. I would love to hear how this is showing up in the comments for you at this moon, and especially as we roll into the next 6 weeks afterwards. But thank you so much for just being here. And if you would like to process more with your personal chart, I will link my booking site in the description below. Have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Libra. This is a 5th house full moon for you. So something could be coming to an end or reaching fruition with fun and play and how you creatively self-express. This is romance, dating, children. There's something deeply transformational in the works with Pluto here as well, but that's the longer 18 years ahead. But right now, this is still being lit up, and it has to do with your communities in the 11th house, your connection to society, audience, networks of any kind. With Mercury retrograde here for the past month, you could have felt that things were not clicking or moving very well in the way of connection to the greater society that you might like. But it could be that something has to go that's been blocking you from really being more uniquely you. And in that process, you're going to start to magnetize the people that really match where you're at. They could be people that are also very strong in creative self-expression. And there's a nuance there on the axis of Aquarius and Leo, which is your 5th and 11th house, that you want people that are self-expressive, yet not overly boisterous necessarily. And that comes from a place of strength and sovereignty in knowing that you have confidence that doesn't need to be outrageous or over the top. Often it's those louder representations of confidence that actually are masking a lack of confidence. Not always, but this is just one example of how Leo and Aquarius on this axis could be shifting the people that you surround yourself with, because your freedom of expression and who you are and what you want to do for fun and what you want to do for dating and play and maybe what your children want to do is changing. And the ruler of this moon is in your 9th house. Uranus in Gemini here is radically changing your ways of integrating information, the way you see the world, the way you connect to foreign things and foreign people and foreign places. There could be more curiosity and more of a desire to integrate radically different information than what you're used to. With Gemini in the 9th house, most Libras will have a sense of curiosity and wanting to gain information and knowledge to create an experience or a representation of life for you that fits and makes sense. But when Uranus moves into this part of your chart, if there has been a quality of just staying with what has been done in the past, because that's what people do, people go on specific types of overseas trips. So they go backpacking or hiking in Peru. It doesn't have to be about travel. It can be about teaching. It can be about the higher levels of education that you're taking. But there's something that you have the ability to break the mold here. If you are a teacher, you could be teaching new and radical things. Maybe you're still in the learning phase and that bringing that into the public will be next. There's something about Uranus in your 9th house that is encouraging you to transform the way you communicate with audience groups and networks. Any work partnerships, any business partnerships, learning partnerships, this could be marriage partnerships as well. Those are going through a restructuring with Saturn and Neptune in your 7th house. Saturn and Neptune now retrograde. You're rethinking how you merge the ways of viewing the world, your belief systems with a significant person in your life. And that's affecting your community as well. Hang tight through these changes, having these epiphanies of what we want to be different in our life. Sometimes things happen instantly with a Uranus transit, but the idea can come instantly and the transition can take some time. Especially when Saturn is involved, which is the case. There's a sextile between Saturn, Neptune, and in your 7th house, and Uranus in your 9th. So this is supportive, transformational energy of growth and perspective. But the relationships and the communities that are part of this, even though it's positively changing your perspective, sometimes friction can be part of that process too. And it could be you that's coming on really fiery because you have Mars in your sign now. Mars is going to give you more energy, more motivation, more momentum to get things done that you need to get done. But it can stir up an energy of frustration when that energy can't expel from your system. It's often recommended to exercise more and put that energy into doing things that you want to get done. But it's that spark, that fire that's in you right now that is an ingredient for tension in your partnerships. And that's okay. That's part of what the restructuring is going to be fueled by. keep that in mind because you might feel a little more riled up than usual and do what fits well with that. It's also recommended with Mars in your first house that you take it slow, especially if you are Libra rising. You want to be, the tendency can be to move quite quickly, and you want to just be mindful when using sharp objects and that sort of thing. And for you, Jupiter and Venus is in your 10th house. You are being seen in an incredible light. You could take on a new career. This could be a new cycle starting in career. If so, this is a signature for abundance. This is being seen in the public eye in a beautiful light. It could even be a bit over the top, but there's excitement and there's optimism and there's nurturing that's coming through. You're being seen as a nurturing figure, and that is going to attract more of that to you as well. You could be in a career or business that is about home or nurturing or protection of some kind. This is in trine to the North Node in your 6th house, and this is going to be about fated work of some kind, routines, health experiences. This is beautiful and healing energy with Jupiter and Venus. So if you have been suffering with any ailments or chronic illness or just things in your routine and your health and habits that you would like to change, this is a fated moment where that can happen more easily. This could also represent people that you see on a daily basis that are helping you get out into the public and take a more leadership role in your work. For Libras, your ideas and your perspectives are key at this full moon. It is that Uranus in your 9th house that is going to filter through and charge up almost every part of your chart. And that's what's going to help you be in that position of leadership and authority. Self-authority is going to change. You're going to have more of a nurturing edge, but you're getting this from your perspective shifts. And this nurturing edge in your ability to have self-authority and be a leader in this world is just going to attract more work, more healthy routines, more lovely changes in that department. A lot to look forward to, Libra. I would love to hear how this is showing up for you. Let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for just being here. If you would like to check out a one-on-one Zoom reading with me and your personal chart, I will link my booking site in the description below. And for now, have a wonderful full moon. Bye, Scorpio. This is a 4th house full moon for you, and you are on a trajectory with Pluto here of big internal changes. You could be radically transforming past trauma from your family lineage. You could be moving. You could be changing homes. There could be changes happening with your mother's side of the family. Or just the way that you nurture your inner world, the way that you connect to safety in this life, as well as the energy you put out in the world. Mercury has been retrograde in your 10th house, and that's where the sun is in Leo. So though you have Leo here, which is generally a comfortable energy for being seen and being out in the public, being a leader, Mercury retrograde here has had you go over some qualities that maybe you are realizing ways that you can become more authentic in that process, more creatively you, more self-expressive in a way that has an authenticity yet a playfulness to it, a fun edge to it. But that comes from the inner healing, most likely, especially for anyone who has been feeling blocked in their inner world. I love the 10th house and the 4th house axis as the inner roots that run deep and the branches that come up above out into the world. When your roots are healthy, when everything that runs deep energetically inside of your system is healthy and uniquely you with Aquarius here, that's healthy. That's a healthy self-representation where your creative energy as a leader is going to come across as authentic and balanced, because Leaders that have an insecurity here can often come across as too controlling, too pushy, or whatever the quality is. But a well-balanced leader doesn't have to push too hard internally or when you're a leader for other people. Every person is going to have different life circumstances. So when it comes to the inner leadership, that's going to be everyone. How do you talk to your inner world? How do you push yourself to get things done every day and be authority figure over yourself? Jupiter and Venus are in your 9th house, where the highlight here is nurturing, comfort, home, security, and that's in Cancer, which is the classic place for the 4th house. I wanted to talk about that next because that's the topic of this moon for you, is Cancer energy. Where is the nurturing? And for you right now, it is in foreign places, foreign people, foreign concepts, foreign ideas. How do you create a belief system for yourself based on what you pick up from your surroundings and the world around you? When you're picking up information that the world is a safe place, that there's opportunity, that you can have a sense of feeling at home regardless of where you are, there's self-nurturing taking place and a trust in this place that we live in. And that is also a lovely place to step into leadership and transform your inner world. The radical ideas, Uranus is in your 8th house. So that's coming from psychological transformation. You could have unexpected resources come into your life or out. This is a full moon, but Uranus is in lovely aspect to all of the planets that it's in communication with right now. So most likely there's going to be something unexpected that comes in with psychological transformation, radical healing. You could have subconscious information come to light that helps you bond better, that helps you deepen and enrich in your bonds, that helps you feel supported by other people. And that could be financial or energetic. You have just gone through radical transformation with your partnerships with Uranus in your 7th house. Now you get a sense of how it can deepen and enrich in the energetic connection, not just the physical ways that a relationship shows up in life, whether that's business or romantic. Mars is in your 12th house, and that's one of the trines between Mars and Uranus. So this speaks to more subconscious information, meditative downloads. There could be more need for rest and seclusion around this time. You could be purging, which is Mars in the 12th house is releasing certain types of energy. And that's what the 8th house is about as well. The 8th house is classically ruled by Pluto. Pluto is currently in your 4th house with this full moon, and Pluto is what purges and transforms us in an energetic way. It releases the waste from the system and it makes space for new enriching experiences and new creative opportunities. When we're not holding on to dense energy and we're not holding on to the way things have to be based on the past, there's more opportunity for shifting our imprints of what we expect the world to be. And that's where you happen to be really blessed with that 9th house, beliefs of the world and perspectives. You could be becoming a teacher. You could have incredible teachers come into your life, and you might not even know the importance of what they have brought to your life and for years to come. It's often those teachers that come in and looking back, like, right, that was deeply transformational. Jupiter and Venus are trining the North Node in your 5th house, where you're about to get lit up by fated activity with the eclipses in September. This is children, creative self-expression again. This is a deeply creative house for you with Pisces here. So what brings fun to you is working in that energetic space, working with creativity in that way. This is manifesting energy, manifesting from a place of experiencing the energy before things materialize. And this is an energy where your creative self-expression has the opportunity to connect to all living things, to connect on a wide scale. For those of you who are in film, the North Node in Pisces can represent film and projects like that, to photographs and other types of images that we create in the world. Also oceans and vast bodies of water. Just as a side note, but that's that connectivity to all and that fluidity of Pisces' fifth house. Highly creative time for Scorpios. And what seems to be happening now is that this creative energy has been amplified in your fifth house for the last 5 to 8 years with Neptune and Saturn. Now the shifts start to build and take place. Now you're being seen in the public. Now you're maybe teaching or publishing. This is when everything comes out, and the work has been going on for a long time though. And now fate is speeding things up. So stay tuned for September forecasts. Those will have more clues as to what you can expect in this fifth house stuff. But I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below how this is showing up and what's going on in your world. It's so much fun to chat with you there. But thank you for just being here. If you would like to check in with your personal chart and have a one-on-one Zoom reading with me, I will link that booking in the description below. But for now, have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Sag. This is a third house full moon for you. So this is about communication, media, writing, short distance travel, vehicles, transportation, cousins, close relatives, neighbors. But the energy is communication. The energy is expression and learning. These are shorter programs. These are ways that we take in media and information every day and make sense of it in the bigger picture, which is where Mercury has been retrograde in your ninth house, and the sun is there now in opposition to this moon. Mercury is currently in opposition and tension to Pluto, and then we'll go back over the points of this moon when it moves direct shortly after. So what's happening now is a release from the past of maybe the way that you take in social media, the way that you create media yourself, the way that you write and speak and functionally use your intellect every day. You've been contemplating with Mercury retrograde in your ninth house and Leo more about what matters to you in the big picture. What's effective and efficient when it comes to integrating material? And if you're wasting your energy taking in information that does not apply to the bigger picture of your psyche and how you want to build intelligence and perspective for yourself, it's going to go. You're going to start to see the waste of time, the unhealthy things that it's doing to your mindset and your beliefs, and a wonderful opportunity when you change your views of the world and integrate more foreign ideas that are helpful, your communication and your functionality of your mind is going to improve. This is also energy where you could be going through psychological transformation, deeper bonds and intimacy with a significant partner. More radical people could be coming into your life, more partners around media and communication if that's something that you are involved in. Because Uranus, the ruler of this moon, is in your seventh house of partnerships. This is going to be a period of surprises. This is an 8-year transit. The ways that you've been operating in partnerships and with others and learning from other people is going to radically change. This is one of those moments where you're going to have insight, and it could come from other people too. That's another way this could show up, is that your personal insights are influenced by those around you and those important people in your life. Beautiful energy for psychological transformation, deep bonds, soulmate experiences. Venus and Jupiter in your 8th house is such healing, nurturing energy for your psyche and your bonds. Also resources, merging resources, supportive financial experiences could certainly come about. faded ones to do with home, because that's where the North Node is, and that's where the eclipses are happening in September. This is a moment where anything related to resources with home, with inner safety, and your sense of home and security has the opportunity to transform. Nodal experiences, like little boosts of moving us forward in the direction that we're meant to go. If relationships do shift, they're meant to, in whichever way that is. But the way that Uranus in your 7th house of partnerships is positively lighting up so many things, it really speaks to more positive, genius ideas and transformation that could be coming from those partnerships. Neptune and Saturn are retrograde in your 5th house, and they're in opposition and tension to Mars in your 11th house. This is a rewrite of things that you find fun, your creative self-expression. With all of this partnership and bonding energy, it makes me wonder if you're refining your sense of authentic representation to groups that you're a part of, to partnerships, but really there's something about community and networks with Mars that is encouraging this reset of structure of how you have fun. Children could be part of this. There could be a dissolving in this part of your life as well, where something needs to leave to make room for what's more authentic and more fun, more pleasurable, more romantic even. You could be motivated to build community, but the communities that you're working to expand with are creating tension with who you are at the core, who you are as your most childlike self. And that's part of the reworking energy. When there's tension, we refine what we need and we want, and then we get to have more opportunities to create that because we're more clear on what that is. And if this has to do with your actual children, then your communities could be changing as a result of your children, restructuring going on with them. And that's just how it goes sometimes. If your children change friends, you change friends too. Or if your children change networks, you change networks too. Communication is a big one that you're reworking, and it is going to work in your favor for feeling more you, having more fun, feeling like when you're more authentic, people really hear you, and vice versa. And ultimately, I love this Jupiter and Venus for you when it comes to intimacy and financial support and feeling supported by partners. You could be surprised by some of the radical changes that happen in partnerships right now, and they really are shifting a lot of areas of your life. I would love to hear how this is playing out for you, Sag. It's so much fun chatting with you in the comments below. And if you would like a one-on-one reading with me, check out my booking link in the description. But mostly, thank you so much for just being here for this video. Have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Capricorn. This is a 2nd house full moon for you. So this is all about your values, your self-worth, the values that you have in life. You're the way that you derive a sense of security, the way that you manage your possessions, your assets. Stuff could actually be changing with those things. But at the core, the energy is about what you value, where you place your energy, and your self-worth. The ruler of this moon being in your 6th house could mean that your values are changing around how you manage your day-to-day life, your habits, your routines, the value that you place on just getting things done, the mundane tasks in the world. Are they being taken care of? Are they being overly attended to? There's a new way of doing things. It's not so much about middle ground, but more about revolutionizing this part of your life. You can have a whole new mindset around the way that you get about your routine in the day, the people that you work with, your work projects in general, so the way that you get work done. But this is any type of work. This is just daily tasks or actual career work, which is where Mars is at the top of your chart. So I do think that authority, inner authority, taking charge of your life in a different way is a part of this energy. Libra is the ruler of your 10th house. that is not necessarily an energy of leadership. So there could be a struggle that you've had in one or many areas of life where it's a balance between how much authority you give another person, how much authority you give another person over the things that have to do with you, and how much you step up to your own inner authority. This is an area where there's always going to be nuance. There's always going to be new situations that require new balance in how we relate to others, how we relate in the status of our positions in the world, and that inner authority piece. Libra is a sign of looking to others, of listening to others, of responding to other people's needs, and sometimes overly so. Libra can be an energy where there's too much emphasis on supporting another person or keeping the peace at the cost of oneself. And the goal of Libra is always balance. So how do we maintain a balance of putting energy towards ourselves and listening to others? And in situations where leadership and authority is coming into question, how do we figure out who gets to lead, who gets the authority if there's a clashing of interests? And that's where this Mars and Saturn opposition could flare up a clash. Situations could show up with other people, but because Saturn is in your 4th house, this is the innermost part of yourself. This is your home. This is your family life. So there could be an element of restructuring who you are as a leader and your own inner authority based on how you were raised to think about these things. Were you allowed to have authority over your life in your upbringing? It depends on each person's personal chart. By classic position, if you are a Capricorn, for Capricorns, Aries is your 4th house, which is an ability to initiate self. That's just one aspect of an entire chart. And so though that might be a piece of quality that you have, there are going to be a lot of variations in all Capricorns of where you're at being able to feel like you can initiate what you need to. You can follow through what you need to, which is Mars in your 10th house, and make it work for you and everyone involved. And for Capricorns, this beautiful Jupiter-Venus conjunction is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. The degrees of 13, 14 degrees, 15 degrees, for those of you who have planets, placements, cusps, which are the angles of your houses, so where the line of your house is, those are extra potent points. They are also going to get a trine, which is a beautiful angle that it is currently into the North Node. And when we get eclipses in September, it's going to activate these points again. Incredible energy for partnerships for those Capricorns. This is expansion of love, healing. This could be another piece of redoing what matters to you within partnerships, reanalyzing your values. What does it mean to have safety, security, nurturing, comfort, and home and family in a partnership? That's the Cancerian element. That is a big piece for Capricorns. Whether you're sun, moon, or rising, the 7th house of Cancer is going to represent something to you. And the North Node in Pisces, where the eclipse is going to be, is your 3rd house of communication. So at the very least, this looks like communication is going through a healing journey. It's realigning with what matters to you for Capricorns. This could be energy where new people come into your life. Lots of people can come into your life over the course of a Jupiter 7th house journey. Check out my Jupiter in Cancer video. I will link that below. It's in the 2025 playlist as well. And that will give you more information about this Jupiter transit. Jupiter is also the ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces by traditional rulership. These placements are your 12th and 3rd house. So this is energetic connection, psychic connection, intuitive connection to other people. This is past life energy with the 12th house, and often eclipses can bring that as well. So more on that in September. And Pisces is an element of the energy that connects all things. It It is the vastness of the existence of this world beyond our individuated human form. So your relationships could have an element of that that's brought in around this time. You'll get a feel for it. So whatever situation is playing out for you, think about the qualities of how it feels. And think about what matters to you with safety and security and how you can re-imprint your system to feel that way regardless of the situation around you. That's a second house full moon. The second house for you is Aquarius, and that's where Pluto is. So you're on a greater journey of your assets and values and security and connection to this world as far as the beauty and the sensual pleasure that we derive from the tangible human experience. But the original position for the second house is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. And that's where you're getting this seventh house layer and connection to your second house as well. Venus is about the sensual side of life, the security and abundance that we can derive in this life. And that is another layer for your eighth house, which is where the sun is, where Mercury's been retrograding. You have been going back over shared resources. What does that mean to share resources with another person, to grow assets with another person, but the psychological transformation that's required for intimacy as well? It could just be psychological transformation for yourself. And it might mean that whatever you've been doing with Mercury retrograde in your eighth house, you're now reaching a moment of complete shift in your psyche. And that is what is bringing in a new quality into your partnerships. I would love to hear how this is going for you, Capricorn. This is about security in a lot of ways. This is about your inner world, your assets, your partnerships, and how you merge with others. But it has to be from a place of values that matter to you and something that matches how you value yourself. If you would like more about your personal chart, check out my booking link in the description. And otherwise, thank you so much for being here, checking out this video. Have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Aquarius. This full moon is happening in your sign, your full moon of the year, and it is a spectacular one with the way that your ruler Uranus is lighting up all of these planets from your fifth house. This is fun. This is you creating what is fun for you. This could be children. This could be unexpected children. This could be surprises in what you do for hobbies. Your creativity is on high with Uranus transiting your fifth house now. Your ability to step into who you are as an Aquarius. This energy makes me think about how Aquarius can be the odd one out. There can be trauma related to existing in a way that's different and one that is responsible for revolutionary, radical change. But at the same time, as amazing as that is, when it's different than what has been done before, there's an element of isolation. You could have more of a bird's eye view over this part of yourself and what it means to be a person that creates in an Aquarian way. That you have an ability to observe from a distance what other people might pinhole. And it's this ability to observe that is keeping things at a distance, yet in your fifth house, this is an opportunity for this element to really shine and maybe feel received. That's with Mercury retrograding in your seventh house, and this full moon is on the axis of first and seventh house. This is an element of partnerships, maybe being seen for who you really are and your Uranian qualities in partnerships, for being more in touch with that creative element. Relationship topics from the past are here for reprocessing, and it's helping you get more clear on who you are as a result. Jupiter and Venus are conjunct in your sixth house, which is beautiful healing energy for routines, habits, getting work done. So if you are in creative work, then the expansiveness of work opportunities is big right now. The trine from Jupiter and Venus to the North Node in your second house is about your values. Karmic money and abundance could be coming into your life. Your resources, the possessions that you currently have, could be going through karmic shifts and growth. Whatever is happening in the material realm is just a playground for the changes that can happen on the inside. And this is an element of magnetizing abundance, magnetizing security, safety, an ability to enjoy earthly pleasures from a position of self-reliance and security that you are able to create for yourself. And that is about being in alignment with your values. This is a moment where your values come into question so that you can align more with who you truly are, what matters to you. That's going to enhance your creative expression. It could enhance an element of feeling different, being separate in that uniqueness. But with this energy in your partnership house, the Sun and Mercury retrograde going direct, Venus will be in your partnership house next. Next year, you will have Jupiter in your partnership house as well. And that's going to create a lot of healing and expansion. But backing it up to today, this is a moment where you're laying the ground for what's going to blossom even more next year. And next month when Venus moves into that part of your chart, the 7th house. Mars is in your 9th house in Libra in opposition to Saturn and Neptune in your 3rd house. This is communication. There's an element of communication and being really motivated about your perspectives and your beliefs when it comes to relationships, because this is a Libra house for you. So it's other people that help you build your constructs of the world, that help you integrate information in a way that sets you up for a belief system that's ever evolving of how relationships work and of how the world works. Foreign places, foreign people, foreign relationships could come into the themes and topics right now. And when you're faced with something that's different than what you're used to, that's an element for exercising different communication, restructuring communication, clarifying confusion with Neptune here. If there are elements of your expression and the way that you initiate conversation, because it's Aries, that are not being integrated into your greater picture of the world, you're just initiating conversation for the sake of it, which is fine. There's a place for that in this world, absolutely. But the energy of this full moon is going to be more passion connected to the purpose and the integration of what you're talking about. And back to that axis of self and other, because this is your partnership axis and you that's being lit up with this full moon. It could be a layer of feeling disconnected that gets released at this moon, and you start to feel more connection and more belonging because you can think differently, because you can see things in a way that brings curiosity and enlightenment to your world with this Mars in the 9th house, but also to others. It feels like energy that is bringing more of a sense of belonging and connection with the last new moon in your partnership house and now this full moon in your sign. It's helping you transform and reformulate your experiences for more connection that aligns with your values and that allows you to be a free, creative person in this world. I would love to hear how this is going for you in the comments below. It is so much fun chatting with you there because this is your moon. This is your element, these Uranian topics. So would love to hear your thoughts on this. But thank you for just being here for this video. And if you would like to process more with your personal chart, I will link that booking link in the description below. But for now, have a wonderful full moon and I will see you next time. Hi Pisces, this is the 12th house full moon for you. And the 12th house is classically a Pisces house. This is a Neptunian energy of connection to all things, your ability to retreat in the world, rest, be separate from society, and your ability to connect to energy and everything that exists, which is a quality that you are already born to do. But with Uranus in this part of your chart and now also transiting in your 4th house, so the ruler of your 12th house is in your 4th house of inner world, family upbringing, where you came from. There is an element of seeing that from a bird's eye observer view right now. It's your ability to look at yourself within and where you came from and see that in a new way that is charging up your life and your world right now. It's activating Pluto in your 12th house, deep transformations of this Pisces energy for you. Mars in your 8th house, which is also psychological transformation and can speak to trauma reversals and trauma re-imprinting. It's activating your 2nd house of your self-worth with Saturn and Neptune there. And your 6th house of routine with the Sun and Mercury retrograde soon to be direct. It looks like through your energetic changes, through understanding the energy that fuels your life, that is part of your blind spots, which is the 12th house, and the subconscious, which is the 8th house, where Mars is, you're doing another layer of upheaval and witnessing yourself and your role as an energetic being in this world. With Pluto in your 12th house and Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house of values, that you have the ability to reorganize the energy in your life and in your world. And this is one of those moments. So whatever is happening in the physical realm for you, look at it from that perspective. What energy is coming up in you that's responding to certain situations? And where is it that you want to shift that? This is less about your conscious perspective and more about how you feel in your inner world and your family and the place that you came from. How that's affecting your ability to be out in the world or to be at rest and connect intuitively and psychically to everything around you, which I think for Pisces is one and of the same. When you have a 12th house full moon, there is so much energy of the 12th house that is you, that is Pisces, that this is almost like having a full moon in your own sign. Jupiter and Venus are in your 5th house, trining North Node in your sign. This is beautiful energy for having fun, for reconnecting with what play means to you. What is your childlike essence calling for? What do you value about your childlike essence and maybe your children? You could have more expenses with children. You could have more indulgence with fun and play and romance and getting to know people in a new way. But this is also an element with the North Node in your sign about getting to know you in a new way. And that is going to be what's fueling these changes of fun and play and hobbies and what creative self-expression really means to you. Some Pisces out there can be very creatively self-expressive, but some can feel more comfortable in the background and being more of an observer. This is where you're going to have a new layer coming to the surface of connecting to what it is you want to bring into the world and how you want to play in this world. With Saturn and Neptune retrograde in your 2nd house, you could be going back over topics of assets and possessions and what your values are around them, and an opportunity to restructure how you take action on these things. There could be a dissolving of certain assets and possessions. And that's part of the restructuring, or you could be more aware of blind spots that you've had in this part of your life. And it's through shared resources that you're doing this. This is the Mars-Saturn opposition right now with your 2nd and 8th house. And it could be through intimacy if it's not the physical shared resources. There is a lot going on, Pisces. This is about what you value, about connecting to your childlike essence and having that be more of a part of you in your everyday life. But how do you balance work and rest? How do you balance possessions and shared resources? How do you balance your own energy, what you value, what you want to give to yourself, and how you merge with others in intimate ways? You could be very focused on your psychological transformation, and this could need more rest. So do take it when you have a full moon in the 12th house. This is a calling for retreat, vacation, faraway places, or just meditation and getting more in tune with your energy at this moment. And eclipse season's coming up, so more on that in September. You're going to go through some fated changes then. This is warming up your intention around what really matters, and then fate's going to match it. Something like that anyway. I would love to hear how this is going for you. It's so much fun chatting with you in the comments. And thank you for just being here for this video. If you would like to process more with a one-on-one reading with me, check out my booking link in the description below. But for now, have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Aries. This is an 11th house full moon for you, with the ruler of this full moon in your 3rd house. The 11th house with Uranus is about your connections to the world, society, communities that you're a part of, your audience, your networks at large. These are acquaintances, looser connections. And the element coming in to question with the ruler of this moon in your 3rd house is communication. Are the thought processes that you're putting out there to your networks in alignment with what you value? Are they radical? Are they new? Are they challenging you? Uranus in the 3rd house with Gemini is about bringing ideas into a new form, having the ability to look at a bird's eye view to those Gemini qualities of chit chat and curiosity and dualities of information, of media that you watch and of media that you're putting out there. You have an ability to do things in a more radical, different, divinely inspired way. And that doesn't always land with people. That doesn't always land with your audience. But you're going through such Plutonian transformations there that if something isn't landing, it is the very thing that's going to create better ideas, more growth, more inspiration for you. This grand trine happening with Uranus, Pluto, and Mars. Mars is in your 7th house of partnerships with Venus in the house of Libra. So this is an element of passion and motivation in partnerships. There can be friction when you have Mars in your 7th house, but with a grand trine, this is supportive, opportunistic energy. If conflicts are coming up and there's tension between Mars and Saturn in your sign, so it looks like the restructuring that you're doing of self could be coming from partnership, and it could be causing a point of opposition and tension at this moment. But what that tension is doing is it's pushing you to these radical new thoughts and communication, expression, and ways of connecting with community. That's what tension does. And that's why it is so important in our relationships. That is why in the wheel, we have self and other in an opposition, in a balance of polarity, in a mirroring connection. But that mirror isn't always just ease and flow. Venus and Jupiter are in your 4th house, which is in trine to your 12th house north node. This is energy of expanding your inner world, expanding your home life, more joy and indulgence and pleasure from home in your inner world. And there's an intuitive element with the north node in your 12th house. This is an ability to connect with past lives of yourself, potentially. This is karmic past life relationships maybe coming into your life. But there's an element of family and restructuring yourself based on what you want your home life to be. As an Aries, you want your home life to be nurturing, mothering, comfort, safety, all of those idealistic home things. There's a strong water element there, that your ability to be intuitive when you're in a safe environment is strong at this moment. And that's the connection to the North Node in your 12th house as well. So regardless of what's going on with Mars and Saturn in your first house and your 7th house, this potential tension in partnerships, it is activating everything else in such a beautiful way that it's going to improve your ability to feel safe and secure and relaxed and surrounded by family, and being that for yourself as well. Mercury has been retrograde in your 5th house, and that's where the sun is in polarity to the moon at the time of this full moon. You have been likely reflecting on what it means to be more authentic, what it means to be creatively expressive and step out into your joy in the world, be seen for your unique individual expression, and what that means to be seen in an authentic way. Aries can be playful and outward and spontaneous and fun and the life of the party. It's such a joyful, playful, natural part of Aries qualities. But this is a moment where you're getting more in tune with the intuitive connection to all things. And that could change not your spontaneity, but the way that you show up in that spontaneity. There's going to be a level of more authenticity. And so spontaneity can sometimes be an element of looseness that forgets that true essence of the inner quality of self. This is a beautiful combination of energy to do all of it, to be spontaneous and fun, but to be really authentically you and to feel secure and safe out in the world when you are spontaneous, which sometimes spontaneity can also come from a lack of certainty. It's like, oh, let's just go for it, without really knowing where we're going to land. But when you incorporate these other watery elements into what's happening, you're taking action from a place of knowing more about the energy that connects your actions to the reaction. You're going to be getting a dose of that from partnerships, where you're going to be seeing the cause and effect piece, and partnerships and significant people in your life are going to be mirroring that back to you. And then you're going to be stepping into that in a new form. Overall, more authenticity and safety in your self-expression and in your initiation of action. Wonderful time to lean on your intuition and meditation, more lean on what is in your inner world, and awesome energy for healing family dynamics, enjoying family, for finding pleasure and fun and optimism in that family connection or at home or whatever that means for you. It'll be different for all Aries out there, and I would love to hear how this is showing up for you, because it's so much fun to chat with you in the comments. And if you would like to connect more with your personal chart, I will link my booking site in the description below. But for now, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Taurus. This is the 10th house full moon for you. So this is all about your authority and leadership in the world, your public reputation, your career, your status, your inner authority, how you balance and regulate your bird's eye view of the world, because for you, the 10th house is Aquarius energy. So how do you observe what authority means to you? And with Taurus energy, there's a very self-actualized, self-security, self-reliant energy in a Taurus. So what happens when you come into connection of other people's leadership and authority? How does that balance with your own? Potentially even have divine downloads of what's next. What's next with your self-worth, because that's where Uranus is in your 2nd house, the planet that's ruling this moon. And that makes your self-worth, your assets, your possessions, what you value, what you believe in when it comes to your values, an important element in what's changing in leadership and authority in your life. How you work towards your goals, how you build a life step by step out in this world, it has to align with what matters to you. And it inevitably will reflect how you feel about yourself and your self-worth. And though Taurus is naturally a sign and a representation of self-worth and value and your ability to create security for yourself in this world, everyone's still going to have different layers of that in different places that they are at in life. And this is a moment where, like a lightning flash, something could change and you could be questioning what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis, your routines, your work, how you get tasks done, maybe even with other people, and how that reflects your values and your leadership and your working towards goals in life. This is connected to Mars in your 6th house, which is putting more passion and emphasis, maybe even frustration, on how you get tasks done with other people. You could just be really motivated at work right now. You could have a lot of it. You could be working with others, and you could be motivated with teamwork. And that is emphasizing who you are as a leader and what you value. Because when we analyze who we are in the world, our public representation and what we're working towards, we are also evaluating our assets and values, what we possess, and our tools. Venus and Jupiter conjunction is in your 3rd house, trining the north node in your 11th house. This is beautiful energy for communication, neighbors, cousins, close relatives, siblings, short distance travel, but mostly communication, media, your mindset. How do you use your mind to your advantage when it comes to your daily routines, when it comes to who you are out in the world in the 10th house in your career and reputation? And how does that align with your values and how you're seeing your values now? Not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago. They change in subtle ways year by year. We don't always notice. Something could be shifting rapidly with your values right now, and that's what is asking for attention at the time of this full moon. What is likely transforming as a result with Jupiter and Venus in your 3rd house is a softness and an expansion to your communication, the media that you take in, the knowledge and information that you take in, how you make use of it, how you use that to connect to your networks and community and audience. There's a lot of societal energy in here. When we're talking about Aquarius, when we're talking about the North Node in your 11th house, which is an Aquarius part of your chart, and you're putting that into words, you're putting divine inspiration into language at the time of this full moon with this Jupiter-Venus element. The purpose of all of this might be more visible in September when the eclipses happen in your 11th house. And this is an energy that is going to bring fated groups to your life, fated audience, fated networks, maybe even a long-held wish or dream coming true. And that Jupiter and Venus means that there's an element of knowledge and learning and communication that is part of it. If you have placements in Cancer, then especially around 13, 15 degrees, give or take 5 degrees, this is going to be even more important for not only your communication and your mindset and what you do with that, but whatever those other placements are too will tie in more of that. That's the kind of thing that if you do have placements in Cancer and you're not sure what they are, great time to talk to an astrologer and get more information on that. And in general, this is just still going to apply to all Taurians out there. It's just a bit more vague as to what exactly is showing up in your life. Mercury and the Sun are in your 4th house. Mercury has been retrograde there since July, mid-July-ish, later, a little bit later. And this is backtracking on who you are at home, who you are on the inside, who you are based on how you were brought into this world, the family that raised you. And you're revising Leo qualities here. You're revising who you are on the inside and how authentic you feel with your creative expressions. And that is now showing up in the rest of the world. And you're more confident being uniquely you from a comfortable confidence. Taurus is typically like that anyway. There is more of a quiet confidence in Taurus. And that could be the Leo in your fourth house. It's more under the surface because the fourth house is the very bottom of our chart. So it's our inside world. It's inside confidence. But a full moon in your 10th house is going to be an opportunity to show more of that out in the world. Situations could happen for you where you do that, maybe in ways that you don't even know. Sometimes we affect people with our actions and we don't actually even know how we're being a leader in the world because we're just being ourselves. But someone else is watching and noticing an element that they need and they want to incorporate in their life. That could be a piece of how this shows up too. With Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house, opposing Mars in your 6th house, you are restructuring. You're motivated by action out in the world and your routines, but there's something at a psychic, energetic, intuitive level that is resetting that. This is a time where you will want to listen to those intuitive impulses, and they could be quick with Aries being the ruler of this part of your chart. So they're not subtle. They'll come up in like little bursts and they're easy to ignore. You're going through a bigger transit here with Saturn and Neptune in your 12th. And so over time, how you take action on your intuition is changing. This is the start of this journey this year. And it's going to carry on all through next year and beyond. So we'll be talking about that a lot more, but this is a moment where that's activated and it's going to shift how you go about your routines. It's going to shift your health too. Listen to your intuitive impulses for any changes in your health. Mars in the 6th house can create an inflammatory response. This isn't for everyone. This is not going to show up for everyone. It can show up in different ways. And with Libra in your 6th house, for a lot of people, this is about balance in your routines and in the action that you take. Being able to listen to other people if you're working with other people and create balance there as well. And the Saturn-Neptune piece is going to give you that element of intuition about what you're hearing from other people and how to create that balance with another. Lots going on here, Taurus. This is a moon that lights up a big part of everyone's chart. So the information's a bit all over the place, but you let me know. I would love to hear how this is showing up for you in the comments below. It's so much fun chatting with you there. But thank you so much for just being here for this video. And if you would like to process more, check out my booking link in the description. Have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you next time.